All right. So takeaways, I know it's a quick presentation, but there are a few things I want to take from this. The first one is why 70% of companies purchase refurbished IT equipment. Second one is what you don't know about refurbished and remanufactured. We'll go into the definition. It varies from vendor to vendor, so it's very important that you guys know where it's coming from and what that actually means. So how reuse is the best option, so we'll go in what you guys already have and improving that to save some money there. And then we'll finish up with how to find safe and reliable vendors. So 70%, that's a big number, and that's backed by IBM Global Finance. And it found that 70% of companies utilize some sort of refurbished equipment in their IT environment. So that could be anything from a switch to servers to printers, anything along those lines. And we found that there's three main reasons for that. And the first one is going to be speed. And what I mean by speed is delivery to your guys' door. So let's say you have an outage of some sort, a hard drive failure, or you need a server, within a few days. Most of the time when you go with the original manufacturer or a reseller, there's a lead time of anywhere of 1 to 2 weeks, depending on availability. So speed's a huge issue if you have failures or if you just need something quickly. So that's one of the main reasons. Next one's going to be availability, if it's still available from the manufacturer. So let's say you've standardized on a specific server or switch, something along those lines, and it's no longer available from Dell, HP. It'll force you to go in the secondary market and look at vendors like xByte who have that availability. So a good example of that is we have a large bank up in the Northeast who standardized on R710 server. They couldn't get it from Dell any longer, so they had to come to us, and we sold them several racks of those servers. So availability is a huge one. The last one's going to be cost. There's huge cost savings in dealing with refurbished servers, anywhere or storage, anywhere from 20 to 40%, depending on the configuration. So obviously that's a huge thing for small and medium-sized businesses and nonprofits. So let's go into new versus refurbished cost model here. As you can see, the top bar there is new. That's either from a reseller or direct from the manufacturer. The next one's going to be OEM Outlet. That's actually a separate arm of that manufacturer, and that's during the canceled order process. They'll actually send it to that arm and send it at a discount, or sell it at a discount, excuse me. The only caveat there is it's limited in its configuration, so it's an as-is type situation. If you find something that matches exactly what you want, that's great, but you really can't customize it. Next one's going to be eBay. We all know what eBay is. You kind of get what you get there. Amazon, a little bit better than eBay in terms of reputable vendors. And the last one's private. That's companies like xByte who offer some sort of warranty or services along with that as well. So those are the pricing models there, and that's a standard configuration across all. So for xByte, refurbished servers were never broken. So when I started working for xByte during the interview process, I thought of the iPhone. You smashed your iPhone, you send it back in, they fix it, and then they resell it. And I thought there was somebody back in fulfillment, pounding on a server with a hammer to straighten it out or something like that. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Actually, how we get all of our current generation servers is directly from the manufacturer from that canceled order division. So let's say during the process, here's a Dell assembly line here. Let's say during the process there's a change or modification during that building process. They've actually found it more cost effective to finish out that server and sell it to companies like ourselves as opposed to tearing it down and re-inventorying those items. So that's how we actually get all of our current generation servers. If it's a 1950 server or something like that that's 10 years old, it's not going to be new. It's going to be from a data center takeout or something along those lines. So that's something you got to ask when looking at those type of things. So another good option for refurbished is upgrading what you already might have. So let's say you've done some virtualization and you guys have some extra hardware. A good option to save some money is to upgrade those servers and to put them in production for other uses. So some things to consider there. I won't go through all of them, but so obviously like cards, hardware prices decline over time. So as those servers get older and those components get older, the value of those goes down. So you're going to pay less for the older stuff, so you can upgrade stuff that you already have to meet that. So buyer beware. So let's say you've decided to go with refurbished. There's some things to consider when dealing with those companies. So one thing to look out for is new companies without any history. I've been in the business a few years, and I've seen customers or companies, shut their doors down at one company name and reopen as another. So that's something to be concerned about. So industry involvement, events like these, trade shows, blogs, forums, things of that nature. So find companies that are involved in your community. D&B rating, really good indicator there, just on their financial stability. Ask friends who they've dealt with in the past. Ask if they've had good experiences with other vendors, and kind of find somebody in that niche market. So I know when I was on the purchasing side, if I was buying something that I normally don't source, I would just ask my friends who they've dealt with, who they like, who was easiest to deal with. So that's a huge thing for us. So another thing is feedback, reseller ratings, eBay, Amazon, so on and so forth. OEM or white label, that's something to be concerned about too. If you see a big delta between the same server configuration or storage configuration, there's probably a reason. It could be non-enterprise level drives. They could be using different types of memory. So keep those into consideration. These are all questions you should ask your vendor when you're going down that road. So I like to treat it, and certifications too. Sorry, I missed the last one. Whenever you deal with these types of servers, you should have some sort of certification with your fulfillment team and your sales team. At xByte, all of our folks are certified with Dell. We had to take little online classes and things of that nature, but that's something you should be aware of. When looking at these companies, I would treat it like an interview. Just simply ask questions to find out what you need. Like, where do you get these servers from? If it's an older server, find out if it's a data center takeout from a large company, or if it's a newer server, find out if they get it from Dell. It's just really good to know the origin of those. So also ask for service tags. That's a really good information piece there. So what steps do you take to ensure full data eradication? That's another thing. And then what is the actual refurbishment process for hardware? For xByte, there's no refurbishment whatsoever. We just bring the servers in-house, store the items, rebuild them, and then send them back out. Some companies might be different. They actually might be broken servers. So these are all questions that you guys need to ask your guys as vendors. So what diagnostic tests do you run? Do they do full BIOS testing? Do they do any updates, things of that nature? Does your company have a scrap program? Many companies will offer some type of scrap program or recycling program, or even give you value for your old stuff that you might be running. I know with xByte, if it's a little bit older, we ask that you donate that to a church or to a school or something along those lines. We'll actually give you a bigger discount if you do, because some of the stuff might not be worth that much, but we'd rather see it used for something else. So. And then the last one is, how does your warranty program work? So xByte, there's a few options there. There's a next business day on-site or next business day parts-only warranty, which is through xByte. So if you have a failed drive, we'll send you one out at no cost for delivery the next day. But we're also unique in the fact that we can offer Dell's Pro Support warranty on all those current generation boxes. So like the 12th generation and 13th generation boxes. We're one of only 2 companies that can offer that. So that's huge. So it's the same exact box, same exact warranty, just a lot cheaper. So that's another thing you should ask it when looking at vendors, is what their actual warranty program is. Some might only have 90-day warranties, some might have a few years. So that's something to ask as you're going through that process. All right, getting the most out of the money. So a few things to look at once you're getting to that quoting process. Multiple bids are huge, so send it out to a few vendors and see where they're at. There could be a big difference between a couple vendors based on what they brought those components in at. So that's something to take into consideration. Also ask if there's any sweet spots in terms of components that they might own well. So let's say you're looking for a certain CPU or a certain amount of storage. Ask if they have any sweet spots that they own well that might be an upgrade for the same cost. That's something to take into consideration as well. Also, target vendors that specialize in your brand. We don't deal with any HP, so I wouldn't ask you to come to me for any HP server. So if you're with Dell, look at vendors who deal with that specifically. They're going to have that expertise in there. So the last one is there's actually one more. It's physical audit of equipment. You have to be aware. Some people that don't stock the equipment will actually broker that out. So you're going to be paying a middleman to get that for you. So make sure they're a stocking vendor, because you're going to see the best cost savings there for you guys. And the next one is recycler with high commodity value. If you are looking to trade stuff in, ask for line-by-line items in terms of what you're going to get value-wise for that old equipment. So that's something to be mindful of. So just a real quick summary. Hopefully I defined refurbished and what that means for you guys. And if you guys have any questions, you guys can come talk to Todd and I. We're back at the back booth back here. So I got about 30 seconds left, so I don't want to get booed, so I'll end here. So thanks, guys.